Why is it that you people are less animated when I start doing this now?
Right?
We're gonna try this out. I'm gonna talk in between you two. Right on the top of a big steaming pile here. Is that a good shape? I know you grazers are like,
Well, it's
addicted to like cow pies.
Yeah.
So that's a good introduction. So hey everybody, Matthew Olmican here for Short Lay and Egg Supply, and I'm coming to you live in the moment. New London?
New London, Royalton, Wisconsin.
So you're next to New London, but you're in Royalton.
Well,
What's the next town down? Kingdomton? We're down here in Royalton Township near New London. So I'm here with my friend Rachel Bouressa.
yeah, I'm Rachel Bouressa, and this is Bouressa Family Farm. So I'm a 5th generation farmer. My parents were some early grazers. My dad was on the Grassworks board, and now I am a vice president on the Grassworks board. I work with Derek Rasper on our Central Wisconsin Grazers Network.
And this other guy I know, Jason Cavadini.
I am a grazer myself as well. I've worked with Rachel in different capacities over the years. On the Grassworks board was one of them. I think I was transitioning off while you were transitioning on,
Yes,
something like that. But I'm also worked for University of Wisconsin Extension as the grazing specialist across the state.
Rachel called me up and said, like, you know that seed mix that you sold me a few years ago? You got to come down and see it. This stuff is like super awesome. So that brings us down here today.
Is that the same stuff that she said started out as a train wreck?
And that is a great segue. I was here, is that 3 years ago or 2 years ago? It was 2 years ago.
It'd have been 2.5-ish.
2.5. You brought me down here for a ride, and this thing was like, it looked really rough. Lots of channeling, basically been abused for a long, long time. And then you said, this is where that mix is gonna go, Matt.
So it was interesting management. I say, yeah, it's never not interesting. So it was a lot of observations through the last year. So it was planted last May, and then I didn't do much for weed management at all. And when I say I didn't do much, I mean I didn't do anything.
So no spray, no clippings, you just planted and let it alone.
I planted and let it alone. So it came up heavy with annual weeds that first year. And I wasn't sure what was going to come through in the pasture mix. So that's where the train wreck term came through. But I was optimistic that it was going to work. And like I said, I kind of looked at those annual weeds as nature's cover crop. And the idea was that they were kind of holding the soil in place and that they were keeping the nutrients there. So then, yeah, then comes September, they was planted in May. September, I brought my animals through and they trampled the weeds down. And after they got the weeds down, you could see that sure enough, that pasture mix had thrived and survived and was under there the whole time. And then, yeah, this spring it came up. I mean, this is by far my nicest pasture on the farm. So this would be just a second year of seeding, a second year of management.
Why is this your favorite?
Well, this is my favorite just because of the quality of the pasture. I mean, it is robust. I mean, like I said, I had the animals come through here last rotation and the clover was over waist high, and they grazed it and then trampled the rest down, and then just that regrowth. So, yeah, my other pastures just don't grow, you know, when you think take half, leave half, there's just a lot more out here to take. So when I take half out here, there's a lot more left. So it recovers a lot faster, it seems. And it is thick, lush, yeah, filled in. It's amazing. I have zero complaints. If every one of my pastures looked this great, I would take it. This was what would be considered marginal land. I mean, they did not get their best yields out here, but now put into a pasture-based system, I mean, this is prime yields for pasture and grazing. So it just really worked well. They graze it uniformly, so even palatability too, when I was talking about the benefits of the grasses, some of those things I forgot.
Oh, like,
and then
like
mature.
You're not going after one thing first, double back and getting another thing, and then all of a sudden something heads out.
Right.
It's just like, they're hammering it out equal.
Yep, which
Like
is really important in a grazing system as well.
Like a nacho platter.
Yeah, right.
So you know what's in this mix. What are the high performing grasses in here?
Yeah, well, so we developed this mix kind of together. You got insight from me as we were working on this.
For everything.
But what we chose the tried and true species that we've seen work, not really in specific areas, but more broad scale. So the goal was to find something that worked on lots of different topographies and regions of the state and different soil types. And so I would say that what is in here represents that. So meadow fescue is kind of the base grass in this mix, and red clover is the base legume, and then there's some other species and varieties mixed in as well. I believe you have festivalium in this as well, which gives you more immediate production, but it's not going to be a species that persists for a long time, but you have that there to sort of fill it in as the meadow fescue establishes.
This is the perfect nacho out here.
Yeah, there we go.
Each bite's got the perfect mix of everything.
If you took a sample of this right now for forage quality, this would be phenomenal. You'd have dairy quality forage out here right now at this point in the game, because everything is vegetative. All the grasses, you see one seed head here and there, something that got left behind when it was grazed, but otherwise the grasses are all going to be high digestibility, lower in fiber, and the clovers are all going to be really high in protein right now. So this is going to make really good forage. So even in a system, some other type of farm that is going to be harvesting this and not grazing it, this is still going to be phenomenal forage. And there's like no sacrifice on the farm's part by growing this as opposed to some other forage. Right. And I wouldn't call this an alternative forage or a novelty practice. I would call this a throwback. I mean, if you look in the history books of agriculture in Wisconsin, especially in dairy country, this is what was grown. This is what was fed to cattle, to dairy cattle especially.
Grasses and clovers, or?
The grass and clover mix. And the reason is it works everywhere. And you're not going to be, so you have some lower depressions here where you're going to have, at some point in the year, you're going to have water ponding, if snow melt or whatever. You're not going to worry about those having winter kill issues like you would with some other forages.
Now, just to kind of wrap this up, so long story short, so this is the Cloverbelt Blend. This is something that, Jason and, Jason was a big proponent of helping me build up that mix, and we designed this mix to be universal. Cover wide varieties of different soil types, wide variety of different ranges, and to be able to not just integrate grazing or establish grazing, but also for hay production as well.
And I should mention that even though I help provide input for this mix, I have not received any type of royalties for that.
You didn't ask for any, so. So anyway, so thank you so much for inviting us down here. This looks fantastic, and it's always nice to hear all the critters and the stuff in the background.
I know. I was just realized I should have had the cow. I mean, this would be ready to graze. I should have had the cows out here.
All right, well, with that being said, I hope everybody's enjoying their day. If you like this video, hit the little like button down there at the bottom. Share this with your internet friends. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Well, that went great, guys.